Money Mondays with Ash Cash. It feel like I haven't spoken to you guys in a while. Right? So the last 2 weeks, man, I was with the kids. Last 3 weeks, I was with the young moguls at World of Money. Fat shout to my kids. Fat shout to the World of Money. And so that's why you guys haven't seen me. But we are back live and direct. Money Mondays with Ash Cash every Monday, except when I'm with the kids. No, I'm joking. Every Monday, 12 p.m. on the Facebook, on the Bank Mobile Facebook page. And so we have 4 minutes. We're going to go live. Make sure you share this on your pages with your friends, your family. I'm about to do the same thing right now. I'm about to share this video, but make sure you're sharing this, to all your pages, because we're going to talk about how to raise financially responsible children. And this is a topic that, I have children, I have 2 children of my own. This is a topic that we haven't necessarily spoke of. So whether you have children or whether you are thinking of having children, it's important to take heed to these lessons. I just want to give you some quick lessons. Some things that, I do with my daughter. My son's only 2, so we're not doing anything with him yet, but my daughter's 9. So some things that we do with my daughter, some things that we're working on, but either way, if you follow these tips, you will, set your child up for success. Even yourself, though, because when you think about your pockets, right, the more financially responsible they are, because from the time they're a child until they're no longer in your household, you want them to be able to conduct themselves financially. So this is very, very important. All right, so we're going to go. Let me make sure I share this video with everyone. All right, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell more friends. And we could be friends. We could do this every Monday at 12 p.m. All right. So let me see. We're going to share this. How do I share this? All right, share. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right, you got 2 minutes. 2 minutes still. We're going to talk about how to raise financially responsible children. This is important because if you know, like I know, kids are expensive, and if they think money grows on trees, and they think that they don't understand the value of money, if they don't understand that there are people who work for money, even if your money's working for you, because that's what we teach, you still want to make sure that your children, understand how to be financially responsible. So we're going to talk about that. All right, 12 p.m. But just give me one more second as I share this video. Make sure you're sharing it as well. All right. It's been a funky Monday technology wise, so my computer which is normally fast, is acting funky with me. But it's all good. The show must go on. All right, I'm going to share this just one more or two more times. Make sure you're sharing this. Send me some hearts. You can send me some hearts. Show me that you care. Show me some love. Also, if you have any comments or anything, you could also put some comments down as well. And last one. Let's see. So I'll share it on my timeline. And then all right, perfect. Let me close out of here. Okay, so welcome to Money Mondays with Ash Cash, brought to you by Bank Mobile, the digital app that is providing a financially empowering banking experience for millions of customers. I am Ash Cash. I'm excited, as always, to bring you financial education that's going to help empower you. And so today, on this episode of Money Mondays, we want to talk about how do you create financially responsible children. So the last 3 weeks, if you haven't seen my beautiful face, it's because for the last 3 weeks, every 3 weeks in July, I teach at a financial institute, the 10 to 12-year-olds. It's the World of Money Institute. And so I teach these 10 to 12-year-olds about how to become financially responsible. And so, I just think it's so important, whether you have kids. So I have two kids. I have a 9-year-old daughter and I have a 2-year-old son. And so it's important that you start at an early age. So my daughter's been going to the institute since she's been 7. But prior to that, we've been teaching her lessons, my wife and I, about, how does she become financially responsible? And this is important because if you have children, you know how expensive they can get. But it's not only about how expensive they get. It's really about the lessons that you teach them today is going to decide who they become later on. And so a lot of our money habits, they start as children. And so I know for me, a lot of the messages that I got about money was why when I turned 18, I, didn't really manage my money the right way. I didn't manage my money the way I was supposed to manage my money because we didn't really have a lot of income, but the income we did have, we didn't talk about money in the house. Money was this scarce thing. It was this secret. I didn't understand about bank accounts because I would go to the bank with my mom, but she wouldn't let me go to the teller line. So I was always on the side. And so I didn't really understand about money. I didn't understand about credit. Everything I learned about money when I became a teenager or when I became of age was really trial and error. It was really, let me try to get this credit card. I don't know how to manage my credit, but let me just try to get this credit card. I didn't really have a grasp of how money works. And so, I want to give you some quick ways on, how do you create financially responsible children? So I'm going to give you 20 ways that you could create financially responsible children. Number one is don't give your children money. Teach your child the value of money by making them work. Pay them for chores around the house, babysitting, lawn mowing, pet sitting, taking out the garbage, etc. This is important because this is not about whether you have the money or not. It's about what lessons are you teaching your child about money. And so if you're just giving them money for nothing, what you're telling them is that that's the way the world works, that they don't have to do anything and they will just get money. And that's not how the world works. So you want to teach them the correlation between earning money, the value of money. And so if you just give them money, then that's not teaching them the right thing. So you want to make sure that you make them work. Maybe it's, again, you pay them for chores around the house. You ask them to do extra things that they probably have to do anyway, right? Because you're the parent. But associate payment with it so you can help them become more financially responsible. Number 2, help your kids make a list of money makers, right? So you got stocks, bonds, mutual funds, maybe owning a business. And so they could understand, like, these are the things that make money, right? If you buy stocks, if you have bonds, if you have mutual funds, if you own a business, that's going to help you make money. But then also allow them to make another list of money losers, right? So like sneakers, high price clothes, eating out all the time. So just do this exercise where they are being tasked with thinking about, what are the things that make money and what are those things that lose money. So that way they can have a full grasp of, what is what and why why you're teaching them this or why do stocks, bonds appreciate. Teach them about assets, and why do things like sneakers or cars or high price clothes, why they go down in value and they're money losers. Number 3, you want to teach your child to make a pros and cons list before spending money on an expensive item. And so, as we talked earlier, you'll help them learn the value of money. But then as they're learning the value of money, you also want them to understand, now that they have money, does that mean that they just spend it frivolously, or do we talk about the pros and cons? So if your child has saved up some money and they want a $200 pair of sneakers, make them write down the pros and cons. All right, so what would you get from buying these $200 sneakers? What will you lose, or what are the cons? What are the negatives about buying these sneakers? And then just compare the list and make them understand, because most shopping is done on impulse. And so if it's done on impulse, there's not really that much thought put into what they're buying, why they're buying. And so make that a habit. And this is a habit you could even do as an adult, but it's always a great habit to assess what you're buying. Why are you buying it? What is the benefit of you buying it? And what are the cons of you buying it? And that's a real important habit to get into, because once you do that, then you'll be in a space to use your money wisely. Number 4, ask your kid to think about something they recently bought that they really wanted. What were their feelings about the item before they bought it, and their feelings 2 weeks later? Was it worth the money? And reflection is good, because again, people are going to buy things on impulse. But ask your kid, okay, I'll give you a funny story. This past weekend, my daughter, she earned $20. And she was excited about, earning the $20. And so we went out to, Governor's Island. And it's, the food is really expensive out there. And so my daughter wanted to buy a burger, and we told her, all right, you got $20, buy your burger. The burger was $15. She nearly cried because she had to get rid of $15 to buy the burger. Before then, she never understood, because if she wanted a $15 burger, guess who was buying the burger? But the fact that she earned her money and then she spent that money on the burger, had her, thinking. And so imagine if 2 weeks later, when I go to her and I ask her, hey, remember that $20 you earned? Well, that $15 burger that you bought, was it worth it? That game that you bought, that, whatever, the candy, whatever they wind up spending their money on, it's important for them to reflect on it, because now they'll think about the feeling that they had prior to purchasing it, but what are they feeling now that they don't have it? Number 5, it's important to discuss an emergency fund and the reasons why it's important. Your kids need to understand that, why is it that you have an emergency fund? Why is it that you are putting money aside? And let them know why it's important, because I think that when children think that there's an unlimited supply of money from your bank account, they're not going to think twice about, what they do or how they spend it, but talk to them about an emergency fund. Let them know, why it's important to always be prepared. Number 6, as your kids get older, have them work around the community at local businesses, churches, neighbors, have them collect letters of recommendation for those they work for. They'll come in handy when pulling together college portfolio. And so, you want them to be financially responsible. It starts in the household first, but after the household, you want them to go around in their neighborhood. You want them to go to their local establishments, their businesses, the churches, the community centers, all the things that are around your neighborhood. Have them, go and work there so that they can try to earn some money and maybe even volunteer just so that they can gain some experience. As they gain some experience, they'll also gain what most kids won't have, which are letters of recommendation. So when it's time for them to get old enough to go to college, they'll already have, work and things that they've done already. So that's important. Number 7, have regular conversations about money skills and financial literacy. What is it? Why do they need it? How do we get it? Where do we keep it? How does it relate to the things that are important to us? And so, having those regular conversations is important, because the conversations about money, like I mentioned earlier, my mom never had conversations with me about money. And so, I had to figure things out on my own later. But had there been an opportunity for her to teach me and talk to me about money, it would help me going forward. Number 8, ask your kids, does a free kitten come with hidden expenses? If so, what are they? And this is an important lesson, because kids need to understand that just because you get something for free doesn't mean that it is free. Meaning that if someone gave you a kitten or a dog or a pet, is it really a free pet? Or are there costs associated? Do you have to feed the pet? Do you have to get litter for the pet? Like, what are those costs? And I think having that conversation will help shape their mind around the price of free, because the price of free is not really nothing. There is, nothing in life is free. That saying, when they say nothing is like in life is free, there's always a cost associated. It just depends on, who is going to take the burden of that cost. Number 9, as an incentive to save money, match your child's saving dollar for dollar or 50 cents for each dollar saved. This is a great way to incentivize them to save. So as they're earning money, if they decide to save it, allow them to earn extra money because they save it as an incentive. Number 10, what is your best money habit? Share it with your kid. I know for me, my best money habit is saving, but it's set and forget. I'm really, really good at putting money in a place and not forgetting. Like, I love finding money. Like, there's times where I will just take a whole bunch of money out in cash and I'll hide it from myself. I'll put it somewhere, and then later on I'm cleaning up and I'll see a wad of cash and I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. Or, open up a bank account somewhere. I might have, done some freelance work somewhere, and got a check and was like, you know what? I don't really need this check right now. So I'm going to open up a bank account somewhere that I don't really bank. I'm going to put the money there. So me personally, I'm very good at stashing, money. But there's other people that have other habits, money habits. So what is your money habit? What are you most proud of from a money habit perspective? And share that with your child. You let them know what your money habit is, and share that with them. Number 11, discuss with your kids some things money can't buy. And that is important, because as you are raising financially responsible children, they have to understand that money isn't the end all be all. There are things in life that money can't buy. And so having those conversations will help them put money in its proper place. Money has a place, and you want to put your money in its place. Number 12, discuss with your kids the advantages and disadvantages of saving money. And so, again, we talk about emergency funds. We talk about why it's important to save money. But then we also want to talk to them about the time value of money. We want to talk to them about investing. So what are some advantages, of saving? But then there's some disadvantages. If you're saving all your money, right, you want to, make your money work for you. And how do you do that? You have to make your money grow and by investing your money. So you want to talk to them about some of the pitfalls of saving, all of your money. Number 13, create a list of above and beyond jobs your kids can do to earn extra money. Like, this is important too, because again, there are chores that they may have, and you may not feel comfortable paying them for chores, things that they're supposed to do. But there's some things that's outside of the scope of what they are doing or should do that can really earn them some money. So have that conversation with them. Talk to them about, what are the things that they can do above and beyond. Number 14, kids love to have their own savings account. It makes them feel grown up. If your child doesn't have one yet, take time to open one and consider seeding it with a few dollars. This is a great way to get them in the healthy habit of saving and thinking about achieving financial goals. So open up an account for them. 15, do your kids want fancy designer labels? Have them pay the difference between what you are willing to pay and the cost of the designer label. This is a great tip, because when you think about how kids want to be with the Joneses and they want to, have these elaborate clothes and these $300 belts. Now, I would never tell you to buy your kid a $300 belt, but there are, elaborate pieces that people purchase. And so, yes, you're going to buy your kids clothes anyway. And so teach them. Say, okay, great. You want the new Kobe's? I don't even know what sneakers are out, right? But if you want the new LeBron James sneakers, you want the new whatevers, I'll buy whatever. This was my budget. My budget was, $75 for a pair of sneakers. That's what I think is fair for you. If you want to buy the LeBron James that costs $125, then you're going to have to figure out how you can earn $50 to make up the difference. And that's a great way of showing them the value of money, the value of earning, the value of work. So that's very, very important. Number 16, teach your kid how to fill out a check by having them write one. And this is even, and maybe next week or the week after, we're going to talk about vision boards very, very soon. But this is something that's important, right? Teach them how to write a check. And I would tell them to write themselves a check for $1 million or $100,000. Let them understand or feel how it is to write a check. And that's something that they could potentially put on their vision board. And we'll dive deeper into what vision boards are and how to create one. But this is a great practice, even for yourself again as well, because just getting that feel of writing that check or receiving that check will put you in a place of abundance. Number 17. Give your 6 to 8 year old $2 and your 9 or 13-year-old $5. If your 6 to 8 year old still has it after a week, and your 9 or 13 year old has it after 2 weeks, double their money. Great delayed gratification practice. And so, those are the ages, and so depending on who, what their ages are, you give them money, and see how long they keep the money. And the longer they keep the money, the better, because you want to teach them delayed gratification. You want to teach them that they do get money. They don't have to spend all of it immediately. Number 18, discuss being rich in comparison, rich in compassion, understanding, empathy, friends, knowledge. How can you use money to help us show these things we value? So again, there are things that money can't buy. And so if you are teaching your kids about compassion, understanding, empathy, friends, knowledge, how can you use money to increase that or to show your understanding, your empathy, donating, maybe philanthropy, just show them that money, has other values, and that you can also be a nice person and still enjoy money. Number 19, talk about a financial goal you set and the steps you took to achieve it, then have your kids create their own money goals, right? And so, again, open conversation is important. Having open dialogue with your kids are important. So talk to them, about a financial goal that you set. How did you achieve it? How did you feel when you achieve it? And then have them set their own goals. And then lastly, number 20 should have been number 1 to me. But lastly, discuss needs versus wants with your kid. I think, that especially as a child, a lot of times you blur the lines. Children, put as much values on the things that they want as much as the things that they need. And so you want to make sure that you're having that conversation with them. You're letting them know, this is the difference between needs versus wants, what the difference is, and why it's important to know the difference and differentiate the difference as you're spending money. So that's it. Comment below. Right? I don't know if I'm doing that right. Yeah, I'm doing that right. Right? Comment below. Let us know what are some other ways you think you could help teach your child how to be financially responsible. Make sure you share this video, with your friend, or if you're listening to this on the podcast. So we do podcast this afterwards. If you're listening to this in the podcast, make sure you share this as well. Leave a comment also. If you haven't listened to the podcast yet, please go to iTunes, search for Money Mondays with Ash Cash, and leave a comment for us as well. Let us know what you like about the podcast, about this. But those are the 20 ways. I'm not going to recap them, but you can actually rewind and listen to this later and recap. But these are the 20 ways to build financially responsible children. You start down. You will thank me later. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, make sure you email me questions at no, I don't even know my email. If you have any questions, it's ashcash@bankmobile.com. So let me say that again. If you have any questions, email me at ashcash@bankmobile.com. And I will return your question, or you could leave the question here on Facebook or iTunes. But thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Money Mondays with Ash Cash. Make sure you tune in next week, same time, same place, and I'll see you next week. Appreciate you.